like to acknowledge the human-nature relationship, and most often criticizing that. And that's also a part of the more than human world. We're trying to decenter the human, not removing it. I dream of shifting the mindset of people, shifting it through empathy, through sentiment, love, and care. I'm slowly learning to approach nature with asking who instead of what, or asking who while asking what. I'm trying to get to know them, appreciate them, the plants, the animals, the rocks and the water. In the beginning of this journey, I wrote down in my notes, who is this reed that is so common? It doesn't feel familiar to me. I've been spending time thinking about language, heavily inspired by Robin Wall Kimmerer and the chapter Learning the Grammar of Animacy in her book Braiding Sweetgrass. She explains how indigenous language defines beings using verbs instead of nouns, like to be a bay, and further explains that a bay is a noun only if water is dead. The reed builds our coastline, but we lack a subscribing language that could beautifully name this act, the act of building land. We're so obsessed about the borders we set on our own, but we don't appreciate it when nature extends them. We call masses of reeds a reed bed, but whose bed? To me, they're more like a herd, a flock, a forest. We describe them with the help of others, describing their flesh as woody. Through a species more acknowledged and appreciated, a species more familiar to us. We probably don't really think that it, the species, deserves its own language. It's just reed, common, ordinary, boring reed. Occupied by being annoyed and bothered, we don't respect it enough to describe its body with words of its own, or articulate its movement with words of appreciation. We should be careful with belittling and othering someone that came before us, someone so resilient, and instead put in the effort to learn from the old and wise. The focus lies on the reed's ability to spread and overgrow, and we like to describe it as invasive. Why do we call plants invasive? Are they actually invading? Or are we invading? Didn't we just set up the perfect conditions for the reed to thrive? We load the sea with nutrition, really pouring it into the mouths of the reeds. They're turning our mistakes into beauty, and yet we frown on it. The reeds are simply a reflection of our action. They're a protector of our species, a builder of our land, a consumer of our waste. Yet they invade us.